What's up? Welcome back to the 49ers Red Gold Redemption Podcast. And today we're going to discuss this loss to the Texans. We lost to the Texans 26-15. And man, it was a tough one. It was a very frustrating game to watch. DeMeco Ryans, it felt like he knew the 49ers offense. He just knew everything because man, we couldn't move the ball. We couldn't run the ball. We couldn't pass. Our offense was not there in the first half until that last drive and before the end of halftime. And it was just looking bad. The thing is, our defense kept it close and even then on our defense, the Texans they did very well against us. They just couldn't get the touchdowns consistently when it got close in the red zone, and they had to settle for a couple field goals. But then they started getting touchdowns. But it was the type of game where you realize that we need a big play receiver, somebody who could get a big play and kind of get the ball rolling, and that's where we need Ayuk because this core that we have now, they're good as a supporting cast, but they're not at that star level, and we got to see if even Ayuk is at that level. But when he comes back, he'll help out with the blocking. But discussing his loss, from what I noticed is that when it came to our defense going against the Texans offense, we'll stop them, and then they'll consistently convert on that third down every time. Every time it came down to stopping them on third down, they'll get the third down. It could be a 3rd and 13. They'll get it, and that's been a problem with us consistently this season. And I noticed that in that game against Tampa Bay. I mean, particularly one play when we came close to stopping Baker Mayfield or the Bucks when they were on 3rd and down. It was 3rd and 13, and Baker Mayfield made that long run, like it was 3rd and 13. He made that run, and so our tackling is not the greatest at times. So there'll be players who are just make these top 10 plays against us, against our defense, and that's when it comes to missing our star players, Boza and Fred Warner. Because a lot of those plays that happened, if you have Fred Warner there, I don't believe it would have happened. And Boza, we really needed Boza that game because we couldn't put any pressure on CJ Stroud. We couldn't put any pressure on him. He had so much time to make the play, and he was out there just like this. He had so much time to make something happen. And it was a tough loss. It was frustrating to watch because we had some momentum going before the half, and we got to a point where we were 1 score away, 8 points away. Then the Texans scored a touchdown, and then we got back into it. Now we're close again, but then they scored again. So we can only get away with so many mistakes for so long that it will finally kind of backfire on us. But what I notice a lot about a lot of 49ers fans, this is what I've been seeing and reading in the comments, there are a lot of doom and gloom fans. They're like the guy from Aliens 2 when he was like, game over, man. That's how a lot of the fans are. Man, it's game over, man. It's over. It's over, man. Let's look forward to next year. It's over. I never know what can happen. Look at the Giants in 2007. It looked so bad for the Giants in 2007. I believe they had a 97 record and they won the Super Bowl. You never know what can happen. So it's not over until it's over. That's how I see it. And then when you start losing like 4 games in a row, like, yeah, it looks like it's done. But like say, let's bounce back the next game and bounce back again and again, and then it starts looking good. That's why you can never count a team out. Look at the Chiefs. They started off 0-2. Then I think at one point they're 1-3. Hopefully they'll win tonight because man, it looks like they got their momentum going. But the good part of that loss is not nothing good in the loss, but at least it was to a team that wasn't in the division, and it wasn't a team in the NFC, so it was an AFC team. And it seemed like DeMeco Ryans just knew everything that the offense was doing. Man, he collapsed on. They stopped Christian McCaffrey. He didn't have a game like that. He made a couple of hopeful plays, the type of plays like, yeah, we're getting back into it. But he didn't have that explosive game like last week. And let me see some of these stats. Yeah, Juwan Jennings, 4 catches, 45 yards. He missed that big catch. That would have been a huge momentum shift right there if he made that catch. Kendrick Bourne, 3 catches, 44 yards. Wasn't the best game, but he made a couple of catches that were very clutch. Or maybe one catch that was very clutch. But he's still Kendrick Bourne is a great pickup. So he's doing what Jawan Jennings did last year. George Kittle, 4 catches, 43 yards. He had that touchdown. He would have had two, but Tonkus got it instead. Mac Jones threw it to Tonkus. But it was a great game from George Kittle. He's great with blocking, and that's what he takes pride in. And I believe any tight end should take pride in blocking and helping with the run game and just everything overall. You don't have to have all these. You don't have to have 15 catches for 200 some yards or whatever as a tight end. Jake Tonkus did well. 1 catch, 2 yards, but he had that TD. And I believe these two are working well together. We finally have a good backup TE tight end. Does he have the charisma that George Kittle has? No. But he still play. Man, but yeah, this is the type of game where we needed a big play star wide receiver. And we seen it here. The injuries caught up to us. And our defense, that defense has bailed us out many times. If we had Boza there, he would have gotten to CJ just in time and would have saved us the game. But that happens. We don't have your star defensive end because we needed to put pressure on the quarterback and we couldn't. So we got to fix that. So we got to see who we could get before during the trade deadline. We need a pass rusher bad. And yeah, we had some injuries that occurred. D Winters was a scary one. It doesn't look like he's going to be out for the season because when I looked at that, I was like, man, not another one. Because D Winters he filled in pretty good for what's the guy? I forgot his name. Yeah, our last linebacker got injured in the Super Bowl. I forgot his name. My memories is bad. Yeah, but we had Alfred Collins. Yeah, he was down for a little bit, then he came back. But yeah, we're very resilient. We're still getting it done with all these injuries. I know everybody gets injured. That's a part of the game, but our injuries are on another level. And the fact that we only have 3 losses says a lot about how we are as a core, how well we're being coached, how healthy our organization is, and those two losses to the defense hurt the most because when these offensive players return, when Ayuk comes back, when we didn't have Pearsall. We seen how he plays. So Pearsall's out. Man, if we had all these players and then we still had our defense, which has been saving us, man, it clearly we are a Super Bowl contending team. But who knows, man? With a lot of heart and the way the season has been going, we don't really know who's good. It's looking like the Colts, but I don't like calling it too early because we got to see how they are because they're the type of team that'll go like 17-1, then lose to the Chiefs in the AFC Championship or the divisional game. So I got to see how they are. They're a little iffy on the Colts. Steelers are a little iffy on them, but that's the AFC. I don't want to talk about them. NFC, Green Bay looks like the top team in the NFC, although they had that tie against the Cowboys, or I do call those losses. If you get a tie, to me, it feels like a loss. Anything that's not a win is a loss to me. What else? What's going on? What else in the NFC? Yeah, our division continues to win right now. So now we're in a very tough division, which is the bad side. But we did beat all three of our divisional teams. So that's the good part. We can't lose too many games because if it comes down to a tiebreaker, of course. That's going to go to whoever has the best record. Yeah, just thinking that over right now. But what else? Everything looked cool. Mac Jones looked good. And I believe even if Purdy played, that would have been a tough game for Purdy because the Texans defense, they're just on us. And that would have been a tough game for even Purdy to play. So I don't put too much blame on the quarterback. Mac Jones played as well as anybody could play against a defense that played that well that game against a team like ours who are already dealing with a lot of injuries. And they don't have a receiving threat like that, deep threat. So we'll see how this goes, man. That was a tough loss. And we just got to, put that in the past, work on our mistakes, and win the next game. All right, so that's my take. And all right, I'll see y'all next time.